Alright, typical me, filming my August 10 years later videos so late in the month of August that they're probably going to be going up in September. I don't think I really need to explain myself with how crazy 2021 has been, so I'm not going to take too long in this intro to do that. I do want to quickly say thank you to all of you guys who have been understanding of just how wild this year has been for me and have continued to support my content. It's really greatly appreciated, and it really helps keep me going, so thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it more than I'll ever be able to say in words, and it's that appreciation that makes me want to continue doing these. So let's jump in and do some videos in this series. Welcome back to 10 Years Later, the series where I talk about albums from the 2010s that were either impactful to me, impactful to music in general, very popular, or just worth revisiting 10 years later for good or bad reasons. And right now I could very well be listening to Donda. As of the time of this recording, I haven't listened to it yet, but instead I'm going to be talking about this. As you can tell from the title, the album that we'll be talking about today is the 2011 Jay-Z and Kanye West collaborative project, Watch the Throne. As I mentioned, this was the collaborative record from the rap titans Kanye West and Jay-Z, colloquially referring to themselves as The Throne. Both artists were at pretty different points in their careers when this album released. Jay-Z's last album, 2009's The Blueprint 3, had several commercially successful hits but earned a slightly more mixed reception from critics and fans alike. Meanwhile, Kanye was fresh off of dropping My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, which, yeah, I don't need to reiterate just how massive of a critical and commercial success that album was. It was one of 2010's bests, and it's been hailed as one of the decade's bests. Both artists were clearly some of hip-hop's bests, but one was coming off of potentially his greatest critical success ever, while the other dropped just a fine album. These two had plenty of history before this album's creation, though. Kanye notably produced several tracks off of Jay-Z's first Blueprint project, including the ever-so-popular Nas diss track Takeover, and that production helped Kanye increase his own profile in the music industry, and he and Jay-Z would share collaborations with each other on several future projects. With this, they just decided to come together and make what was originally going to be a 5-track EP that would later morph into a full album, the standard edition of which lasts 12 tracks and around 46 minutes. While I have respect for both of these two as artists, I wasn't really sure what to expect out of this when going into it. Even though the record continues to be talked about today, and even though it had a few singles I was familiar with, I had been hearing some very mixed opinions on it, which made me unsure of what to expect. To my surprise, I actually greatly enjoyed it. I can certainly see why others may not, since it is just a lot of flexing, but there's a lot that I personally enjoyed here. Like No Church in the Wild, the opener to the album that is a track I've enjoyed for several years. That bass groove combined with the reverb, bass drum heavy beat always grabbed me right from the start, and Jay-Z and Kanye both sound laser focused, diving into themes of the dark sides of organized religion. Ironic in hindsight given where Kanye's gone throughout his career. I also love the vocal contributions from Frank Ocean, who drops a killer chorus, and The Dream, who sounds awesome on his short bridge. This has been one of the most iconic singles from the record, and for good reason. It's still by far one of my personal favorites. I kinda wish I could say the same about Lift Off though, because there is a lot of potential to it. It features a great chorus from Beyoncé, and I love the celebratory and vibrant feel of the instrumental. It almost sounds like something that could have landed on Beyoncé's then recent album 4. Jay-Z kills it and Kanye sounds good, but a part of me feels like they don't have enough of a presence on the song. I'm not sure what it is, but it feels like there could have been more of them here. Then there's Paris. That's as much of the title as I'm gonna say. Should be obvious why, but if it isn't, there. Either way, the synth line on this track is pretty damn iconic. I feel like it's been everywhere since this record was released. Jay-Z does kinda outdo Kanye on the song in my opinion, but both of them bring a great energy to it and make it quite a banger. As it is, there's not a whole lot of depth to it lyrically, as it feels like Ye and Hove are just kinda showing their celebrity status, and that's what happens throughout a lot of the album. It's still a good song, just forewarning that there is a lot of that. Otis is another pretty iconic track from this record too, and for good reason. The Otis Redding sample is perfect. It's another example of Kanye's masterwork with sample flipping. The instrumental as a whole is suitably soulful, which I love, and Ye and Hove trade verses and absolutely dominate the song. It's easy to see why this is one of the most popular songs from this record. Gotta Have It has another great hook thanks to the James Brown vocal sampling, and I like how the song has a mellow beat but still feels like a bit of a turn-up jam. And it's another moment where Kanye and and Jay-Z trade off verses nicely to create an enjoyable track. New Day has a very emotional instrumental with lovely keys and a nice Nina Simone sample. I think both verses are great, and I really enjoy the brutal honesty from both Ye and Jay-Z, but I think Kanye's verse was the one that really grabbed me. These days, I never know what the genuine, real, egoless, non-media consumed Kanye looks like, but this track feels like quite a dive into that. On his verse, he spits about how he doesn't want his son to become another version of him, and how he wants him to have an easy life free from the constant controversies that Ye perpetually finds himself wrapped up in. It's a really nice moment, and I can respect Kanye bringing it down to earth a bit with this song. Unfortunately, this great moment is followed by the album's admittedly short, weak stretch beginning with That's My Bitch. The track has some nice grimy synth vibes. I honestly can't stop hearing the scream in the background of the instrumental and thinking it was sampled from the spooky swamp music in Spyro Year of the Dragon. Hell, the more I listen to the song, the more I think it actually sounds like the spooky swamp music. Sorry, I know that's a weird comparison, but some of you gamers that are watching might understand. Anyway, Ellie Jackson's chorus is great, and I like Justin Vernon's contribution to the track as well, but while Ye and Jay-Z sound good, I don't think the track feels like it stands out to me. Not bad, just not fantastic. Welcome to the Jungle has an instrumental produced by none other than Swizz Beatz. His production is smooth and pretty cool, and I feel like Jay-Z has a very emotional verse, but he really outshines Ye on this one. There's also not much of a hook here either, making it kind of forgettable to me. Fortunately, the album finishes off fine from here. Who Gon' Stop Me features that I Can't Stop by Flux Pavilion hook that is just too damn iconic, and the implementation of the sample is really good. Kanye and Jay-Z come prepared to body the beat, and some of the auto-tune that's used on the track also makes the vocals even more interesting. The beat switches are way too hard, too. Murder to Excellence is a two-part song about the black experience in American society. Part 1, Murder, features a very dark, haunting beat with some hazy implementation of La 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 by Indigo Twins, and Ye and Jay-Z trade off verses and do a very good job. Part 2, Excellence, takes the instrumental in an even darker direction. Each member spits one long verse, and they do a great job keeping the song focused and delivering strong flows all throughout. Made in America is another track dealing with the black experience, complete with an extra presence from Frank Ocean. I love the sultry R&B leaning instrumental that has a bit of a plucky electronic feel. Frank's chorus is absolutely beautiful, one of my favorite moments on the entire album, and both verses have very good flows and energy. This is by far one of the most chill songs on the record, and it's just so lovely. Maybe I'm biased because of that Frank Ocean chorus, but wow, it sounds like the best lullaby ever. And Why I Love You, the closer to the record, is an oddly rock twinge song, which is an interesting choice for a closer. Mr. Hudson's vocals on the chorus have some excellent charisma with some interesting effects as well, and the actual beat maintains the big time energy a lot of this album comes through with. Jay-Z takes the lead for much of the track, and I do think Kanye could have had a bit more of a presence on it, but Jay is so laser focused that it's not too big of a deal. It's ultimately a good choice to finish up the album on. Overall, Watch the Throne is an album that is still very enjoyable today. I've heard a lot of people say that on this project, Kanye and Jay-Z sound more like celebrities or business moguls than rappers, and I can't agree with that, but I still think they sound very good. They have a lot of chemistry together, and I feel like for the most part they're afforded some good production that benefits their sound and style. And while this isn't the most feature-loaded project ever, I do enjoy several of the guest appearances, as I think they add even more liveliness to the project. For as flexy as it can be, I also appreciate how these two know how to take a moment to stop and get a little bit introspective or even socially conscious. I can see why people wouldn't call this the finest project from either artist, and it might take a good deal of sitting through all the flexing to properly enjoy it. But all in all, this is a really strong album that I think still holds up well and is a great showcase of two rap titans doing some good work together. Wonder if we'll ever get that Watch the Throne 2. Back in 2011, I only partially liked some of Kanye's songs and didn't really know anything about Jay-Z, so I don't know how much I would have liked this thing. Listening to it now, I honestly think it's pretty damn enjoyable, more so than I initially imagined. If I had to put it on my scale, I didn't think I would, but I'm giving it an excellent rating. I didn't think I'd love this thing, but hey, even if Kanye and Jay-Z can coast by on their personality and status, I mean, it says a lot about who they are as artists if something as solid as this is coasting. That's how I see it, at least. But that's just my opinion on this project. What did you guys think about it? Did you listen to it back in 2011? Do you still listen to it now? Did you love it back then? Hate it back then? Do you still love it now? Do you still hate it now? Are you just completely indifferent towards it? And what would you like to see on a Watch the Throne 2? Whatever your thoughts and opinions and experiences are, leave them down in the comments below. Let's keep this civil and have some fun as we like to do. If you guys want to hit like and subscribe and support some of my other ventures that I have linked in the description, thank you. If not, it's no big deal. I totally understand. And as soon as I turn this video off, I'm going to film the next 10 Years Later video, which is going to be on The Weeknd's Thursday mixtape. Obviously, you guys know I love The Weeknd, so I'm very excited to talk about that project. So stay tuned for that, but until next time, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.